The NBA season is set to tip off tonight in Toronto with the reigning champion Toronto Raptors set to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. But the season begins after weeks of controversy with the league off the court after the Houston Rockets general manager posted a tweet in support of pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. League Commissioner Adam Silver has defended Daryl Morey and says that the NBA supports freedom of expression. But since his tweet, several Chinese companies have cut business ties with the NBA, bringing the issue of freedom of speech to the forefront of the league. Joining me now from L.A., Bill Reiter, host of Reiter's Block on CBS Sports HQ. So, Bill, Adam Silver, is he trying to sort of smooth over the league's reputation with China with the season set to start tonight? What's really the current relationship between the league and China?
He is certainly trying, and has said in the last 24 hours they have no choice but to engage with China because it is a massively, potentially lucrative market and a very, very popular place for the game of basketball. But it's not going to be easy. The latest from the Chinese government, some state media have said that Adam Silver will face, quote, retribution, end quote, for his support of Daryl Morey and Daryl Morey's First Amendment rights. So certainly the NBA trying to walk that line between, let's be frank, doing the right thing as it relates to the values of this country and try and be active in that very lucrative market. But at least to this juncture, at this point, Chinese government still very unhappy with Adam Silver and the NBA.
And then last week, Bill, did you see those protests at the Brooklyn Nets preseason game on Friday night? Fans dressed in shirts showing their support for those pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong. Does the league anticipate more of these demonstrations as the season kicks off?
I think they should absolutely anticipate that. I'm sure that they do, and I'm sure that they're aware that that is a I don't know about a worst case scenario, but that's not the optics the NBA wants in this country. We saw this with the NFL last year where the political became a part of the sports theater of the moment with the national anthem and the kneeling controversy. The last thing the NBA wants is protester after protester, and the NBA and individual teams having to make a decision whether to remove those protesters or not. But I think, yes, we're going to see that as a consistent part of the NBA landscape this season.
And then there's LeBron, who's been such a focal point in the discussions of free speech in China. He's set to play tonight when the Lakers take on the Clippers in the battle for Los Angeles. What are you expecting to see when these two potential powerhouses take the floor?
Yeah, I think LeBron James, who certainly probably overreached in his decision to speak about the Hong Kong protesters in China and call Daryl Morey uneducated on the topic, is probably going to find a refuge where he always has when public relations nightmares, in this case, things more important than public relations nightmares, have taken place for him, and that's on the basketball floor. This is a guy who feels overshadowed by a lot of the young superstars out there. I think he feels disrespected. I think you're going to see, Rena, tonight and this season, LeBron James trying to remind people he is the best player on the face of the earth. He hasn't gone anywhere, and he still has some game.
All right. I want to talk just sports for a second here. You know, no politics. We couldn't start an NBA season without some sort of a bold prediction. Who's your favorite team to win it all this year?
All right, so I got two. My non-bold prediction, the team that I think actually is going to win the whole thing, is the Los Angeles Clippers when Paul George gets healthy. Kawhi Leonard's there now. They're a really interesting, deep team last year without those stars. But here's my bold prediction. I actually think you're going to see injuries happen to one of the two teams here in L.A., the Lakers or the Clippers. They're two tandems. Each of them have a tandem that's been amazing. Those four guys have been injured quite a bit the last few years. And the weight of trying to play with LeBron, it often is tough for teams the first year. It's the first year of the Anthony Davis experiment with the Lakers. So I like the Utah Jazz. I think Quinn Snyder's a great coach. They brought in some important pieces, including Mike Conley. I think that Utah team, if it's a non-LA team that makes a run, could be that team. So I think they're 12-1 to 15-1. That's my bold prediction, even though it'll probably be the Clippers.
All right. I want to turn now from basketball to the World Series. Speaking of winning it all, Washington Nationals are squaring off with the Houston Astros at a shot potentially of becoming World Series champions. Who has the edge, you think, into this series?
It's really interesting, Rena, because both of these pitching staffs are historically great. I think we have 5 total Cy Young awards and 3 winners who are playing in this series, and there'll probably be a couple more added to the mix after the World Series. So the starting rotations are dynamic. Now, on paper, the Astros are the best team, the better team, the best team in baseball. But I'll point people to the fact that the Nationals had a 0.1% chance, according to MLB stats, of just making the playoffs back on May 25th. They're one of the hottest teams since June 1st, and they were 10 games under 500. Steven Strasburg is one of the better postseason pitchers we've seen in the modern era. I love this team's fight. I love the fact that they believe in each other and that it's some ways house money. So I know they're big underdogs. and I know it's going to be close. I think the Washington Nationals are going to be World Series champions when it's all said and done.
I can't believe that stat. I'm sorry, Bill. It still makes me laugh. Is that right? 0.1% chance of winning the World Series?
It is one of the more statistically improbable World Series runs we've ever seen. It's incredible.
Yeah, we'll make it all the more sweeter if they do. Bill Reiter, thank you very much for joining us, Bill. And don't forget, by the way, you can watch Bill's show, Reiter's Block, live from Los Angeles, Monday through Friday, every Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, only on CBS Sports HQ.